My name is Michael, and I'm the Inside Communications Director for Human San Quentin. The contents of this episode include strong language and graphic descriptions of violent crimes that may include sexual assault. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to the Prison Podcast. I'm your host, Diane Kahn, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today. Last episode, Michele opened up about her emotional journey, one that ultimately brought her to sit across from Stephen in a victim-offender dialogue. Today, we'll be in conversation with Stephen, who's been incarcerated at Mule Creek State Prison for 20 years for his involvement in the tragic death of Michele's husband. Heads up, this conversation was recorded from Stephen's prison cell, so the audio may have a raw edge. But trust me, the weight of his words more than makes up for it. Get ready for a deeply human perspective that challenges, surprises, and sticks with you long after the episode ends. Today, we're sitting down with Stephen Burkholder, who's incarcerated in Mule Creek State Prison in Ione, California. Stephen, I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, and for allowing me to share my story with you.
You were telling me about growing up with your mom and how your mom loved you.
I never had no real dad. My real dad, I have no idea who he is. I've never met the guy. So I had stepdad, stepfathers, and I'd probably go back to about age 11 or 12. I'm 63 years old. I'm just a couple of years away from being in the hippie era. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and all that stuff. But yeah, partying was a thing in the late 60s, early 70s. And that's when I was going to high school, junior high school. I got in trouble as a kid, but nothing like really major, car theft, joyride, car theft, stuff like that, teenage stuff. I went to juvenile hall, but I never really went to Boys Ranch or YA or nothing like that until later on. But what I was introduced to hard narcotics at the age of 12, basically heroin and that kind of lifestyle. So growing up as a teenager, that was all crime and getting high and doing drugs. It was all glamorized. My mom didn't really have no money, so I had to go to school so she could collect the welfare, and that's how we lived. Basically, welfare is subsidized with through drug sales. My stepdad, he was Indian reservation. I didn't belong to him, so I guess I never really had a bond, like a father-son bond. And like I said, this is all in hindsight. Cause I tried to be someone be someone that I did have, and I got the furthest thing from it. Yeah, teenage years, that was all being cool, partying, getting high, selling drugs, and making money, running the street. I didn't know about family morals or. I don't know. I think my mom tried to keep me in a group home, keep me away from my stepdad or something, because it's like she didn't approve of what was going on, but she was like powerless to do anything about it. Really, it's not. And that's why I say she loved me, but she can only do so much. There was violence. I watched her get beat a few times, stuff like that. It was interesting, and so it's like I basically left home. I was a product of the streets after about 14, 15 years old. And that's really where I learned normal stuff. I had some I call my adoptive family. I just basically went to my friend's house and started living with them. Stopped coming home so much. And I seen how a big family unit worked and how people family unit interacted with each other. See, I never had that. I got a stepbrother and a stepsister. I have no idea where they're at. But they also told me that if I could complete this program, I went to this program, I could be out within 6 months. I flew through the program. It was called it was an RBT program, Rational Behavior Therapy. So it was like, I'm kind of educated. I'm a high school graduate. I made it through school and I made it through this. And when I got out, what I'm leading up to when I got out is within 1 year, I had met my wife. Well, I met the love of my life. It changed me. I had a job. I was working. Yeah, I met the level. I mean, I had that love at first sight. I don't know how to explain it better than that, but it was like, a fantasy come true type of thing. I think Michelle went through something like that too. She said her husband was her childhood sweetheart, lifelong. And a couple of those aspects were kind of like we're kind of like the same, long term relationships. Found someone who cared. Um, but being from a broken home, I tried not to provide a broken home, but there's always drugs in the background. Like I said, that partying, 70s, it was a lot of partying. It's the thing to do, cruising and partying and just taking it. Minimal responsibilities like paying rent and paying bills and stuff that you had mentioned earlier. I mean, I never really had to experience that before, but I tried to tackle it. I did. There was that easy money aspect all the time, and that easy money aspect, it really it ruined my relationship. I mean, the love of my life, who I happen to still be married to, I mean, it ruined it. It just ruined everything, and that was kind of difficult for me to handle, honestly.
Explain to us a little better. How did it ruin it?
Well, I was using, and I got her to use it, and methamphetamine, it does crazy things to people. It changes people. This crime happened in the middle of the night. I mean, I know I was high, he was high. I mean, I know that he had drugs. The drugs fell out of his sark on the autopsy table. So he was out running the streets at nighttime, same as me. My marriage was pretty much over at the time. I had a different girl, but I didn't really have nothing. I didn't have no. I didn't really have nothing. I had nothing going on in life. I lost everything. I had 5 kids at the time. They were with grandma through CPS. So the responsibility is gone. I was just out there doing basically nothing, getting in trouble.
Do you mind taking us back to the night of the crime and explaining what happened?
I was coming home, like I told Michelle. I never met Floyd before this day. I have no idea why he was where he was. I really don't know why I was where I was. I just thought I was walking home late at night at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was just a chance meeting. He had a. I remember he had a chain around his neck. I had a bracelet or a match, and he wanted to make a deal. Deal was going to turn into a drug deal, but that escalated into something else. Being high, maybe these guys stuff got interpreted wrong. Peacocking, I call it peacocking because it's that male gene. When someone says something to you, you feel disrespected, and that's how I found myself in the situation that got me here today. I try to pinpoint stuff and I just have no idea why what happened happened. I told Michelle that I didn't even know that the man had died until the day I got arrested. That was kind of a lot for me to take home. It shook my whole foundation, to be honest with you, not knowing what to do. I'm pretty sure she told you I spent a lot of time in the county jail. Well, I think I went through like every public defender in the public defender's office. So I don't know why. Different qualifications. There was always an excuse. What the attorneys kept switching. I mean, I didn't have no control over that. There's only so many in the office that I think are qualified to handle a serious case like that. She told me she thought I was playing games. My response to her was I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do, how to handle it. I didn't want to. I was just shook, trying to accept something that I just didn't know how to accept, didn't want to accept. I'm on a long walk home, and I run across Floyd. Like I said, we entered into a deal. It was basically going to be for some drugs. He wanted to buy this bracelet I had because it matched his chain, but he snapped at me. It's like we got to talking about price. He snapped at me, and I snapped back. That's why I call it peacock. And then it's that male ego gene that someone. Yeah, I think I learned that a lot of that has to do with prison because when you're in places like this, people you talk to people nice, polite, respectful. And if you don't, you feel disrespected hella easy. Like, and I remember that. I mean, who the hell you fucking think you're talking to like that? And it's like it's over nothing. it was a big deal at the time, but I mean, the people, normal people, and I think it's like it's over nothing. It's ridiculously over nothing. And looking back, it's embarrassing. That's why and I told Michele, I don't. Whatever what happened that night, I don't feel nothing but shame and embarrassment that that drugs or whatever could have me in a place like that to become a person that could even do something like that. Uh, so trust me, I am not living the proud normal life that I should be. Dealing with my family, my kids. It was, there's no real big story to tell. That's pretty much it. He smarted off. I smarted off back. He called my bluff, and I just reached out. I reached out. He looked at me hella crazy, but he's looking at me. I'm watching all these people. They're running towards us. There was a club about a block and a half over, a couple blocks over, and they were letting out. And when we got into this confrontation, I just remember they were coming towards us. So I mean, I looked around and I panicked. I'm looking around. I mean, there's just like on the sidewalk. There's like a little stool right there where you can sit down in front of a building. I remember there's cars parked on the street, and I'm watching these people. They're coming towards us. Well, I looked around. I panicking. I look around. Floyd, he's looking at me. I mean, I didn't. When I reached out, he was stabbed, but I didn't know the extent. I mean, he didn't, fall down and or nothing like that. I actually got scared more because he just looked at me, hella crazy. I mean, that was more scary. But there was a fight. There was a bike off to the side. I ran and jumped on that bike and I rode off and I split. And that was it. That's pretty much that was it. I didn't know that he had died or anything. Not until when I got arrested. But then in the case, the reason I got an LWOP sentence. They twisted the case around to say that I robbed him for his bike. That wasn't the case. I mean, the bike had nothing to do with it. It was just like a getaway thing, trying to get away. If I could do it all over again, I think I would want to take the stand and tell my story the way I'm telling you. That's basically what I did with Michele. I just told her the truth about how it happened. And it's like when I was talking to Martina and Barbara, it's like I was asking them. I mean, I didn't know what she wanted. When they requested the interview, I was trying to figure out what did she want from me. I didn't know. Like I said, I never seen stuff like this before. What am I gonna? I look my victims in the eyes and tell them. I mean, I just didn't know how to deal with that. What to do? So I just had an awakening. And I just tell the truth. Just tell the truth, and that's what I did. And I wasn't such a bad. I wasn't all that bad after all because when I was talking to Barbara Martinez, they was telling me she wants you to feel what she feels. I mean, what I took from her that very same week. And we had that interview. It was in October. It was October 17th, I believe. My first grandson just got killed on the motorcycle 2 weeks after moving down where they're at now. And I also have a son that got shot. He was innocent, never been in trouble before. I mean, she knew about all that, and Barbara, they were good. They wouldn't tell me. What did she want from me. I mean, I didn't want her to come down and cuss me out. I didn't want to go through all that because my family told me that in the courtroom after the trial, I guess there was my kids and her kids. They were really arguing back and forth through Sacramento Bee. And, it was a pretty ugly scene. I believe I wasn't there, obviously, but it was. I mean, they were hurt. My kids was hurt. Her family's hurt. Everybody was devastated by this. A lot to take in. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that is a lot to process, Stephen. That aftermath of one kind of chance encounter you had, and gosh, I'm sorry to hear that, Stephen. That is just emotional when I hear about your grandson. I hear about your son, and what you're facing up against there with how much it changed her family. So I just want to let you know that I feel you. It's a lot.
Oh well, like I said, it's like and I never thought anybody. My life, I've never really had nothing to speak of. I never really cried about it. I've had chances, I guess, as much as anybody else, but nothing. There's just really nothing spectacular. for a chance meeting like that, it's like 1 in a million chance. I mean, I would have never even crossed my mind that I would be sitting where I'm sitting at this day. I mean, I'm not no Joe citizen by any means, but to actually kill somebody for nothing, it's just basically for nothing. It's just like it's hard for me. It's still hard for me to swallow. It's no words to explain it. There's no justification. And so yeah, and that's nothing. The way I told Michele, don't we're doing and talking in this story, and don't think that I think take any of this lightly or think it's funny or nothing. I mean, it's heartbreaking, really. I think I actually got pretty emotional when I was explaining it to her. The emotions I didn't think I had kind of rear up. I'll tell you, it's such a waste. I feel like life is just waste, honestly.
I can't imagine sitting face to face with her and having all those emotions, and especially those new emotions come up. So walk us through, how did that day go?
Well, I'll tell you that Martina and Barbara, they did so much more than they think they did. Facilitate this. I think that's why I credit that with the success we had.
Yeah, they're absolutely wonderful people. Wonderful people. How were you feeling going into that morning?
I was nervous. Barbara would come back. She'd talk to me, make sure I was okay. I don't know. I want to say I just had an awakening. Like I said, I don't talk about it. I don't tell people around me why I'm here. I mean, just basic. Obviously murder. But it's not a topic of my conversation. I don't brag about it or share with people. I just never done that. I had at the time my oldest son was my cellie. That's one bright spot in all this. This whole time I've done my actual son was my same name. It was my cellie for most of my sentence up until I got here a year ago. It's incredible. I mean, you can't write this stuff. The way my life turned out, it's unbelievable. You couldn't write it in a million years. This whole time when I was going through trial, she had a son. Michele and Floyd, they had a son. He was in the same take with me. I was like, wow. It was unbelievable. It was weird, dude. Like euphoric.
Right? Like just the
just like
sheer coincidence of that.
God, I don't know about coincidences. Like God was showing me signs in all kinds of different ways and it's like it was just weird. I get to tracing. I got into reception. That's when I caught up with my son the first time, and they had a son there. It's like when I say we are alike and growing up, I'm not sure of his age, but I don't think he's 5 years younger than me. Within 5 years of my age, going to school, same era, having the love of your life. Michele said that they were together since the sandbox. I mean, lifelong. They're lifelong partners. Kids, I have 5 kids. I mean, I'm not sure how many she's got, but it's right there somewhere. The same kind of person. I mean, prison, drugs, family, dysfunction. The same kind of dysfunction. It's unbelievable. But when I was asking Martina what she wanted from she would just want you to feel what she feels. Well, that was kind of easy for me. It's just like when I was telling Michele the story. It's like I could see what was going on with her. Like, because I think I actually told Barbara and Michele that. I mean, she knows who she was married to. She has to know the person that she was married to. If they're with someone that long, I want to say, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. He's not an innocent victim. He's just victim of chance, victim of circumstance. So it's not innocent at all. We were getting high, and this chance meeting is like I said, it's 1 in a million. It's like a fucking nightmare. I spent a lot of time trying to forget about it up until the time that Barbara and Martina came up and asked me if I wanted to participate in that VOD. Honestly, I explained to my kids what happened, but other than that, I never really talked about it. I see no reason. I see real reason. There's just no reason to, other than what I was able to give Michele. Like I said, it's like I was able to give her what she needed to move on in life. I'm kind of proud of that. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of proud of that. And circumstances being what they are, because I'm not proud of nothing that happened. I'll tell you that's not what I mean. But being able to give her what she needed made me feel good.
After talking with her, I know she just came into you with what feels like to me such utter vengeance. And you said she wrote that letter to you. Take me through the day. So how was it when you first walked into the room? So my understanding with the victim offender dialogues, I guess you get to sit down first, right? And then they're escorted in second. Is that how it happens for you?
Yeah.
So what were you thinking? What were those first few minutes like?
If you could picture a conference table turned side to side, she's at one side, I'm at the other. I got Barbara and Martina on the side right here, two chairs side by side. So it's a good, I don't know, 10, 15-foot table, I would say. Two people, it's not close, you know. They have computers, an officer over here. Everything secure. It's a secure area. And I just remember when I walked in, I looked, Martina, she taught me some little tricks about how to keep my composure. Honestly, tapping my knee, make sure I breathe evenly. I don't know if you get to that Calm. There's an app that says Calm. There's some techniques on there to help people stay relaxed and calm. But I was able to do some of that. The letter she had. I mean, from where I was sitting, it looked like about a 10-page letter. I don't think it was that big, but there's a bunch of little pages, I guess. I understood it. I mean, everything's just like real vivid. That's how the interview actually started. You know, Martina, she was basically orchestrating everything. She took the floor and explained everything what was going on. Gave her an opportunity to read the letter. She was calm and collected, seemed like to me, but there was a lot of venom in that letter. To be honest with you, I remember what I do remember. I don't know if it's not exactly verbatim, but what I remember is talking about she recommended the death penalty. She volunteered to be the one to push the button. She didn't think that I was sorry. The only thing that I was sorry for was getting caught, and then she went on to explain about what she lost and what I took from her. That's what I remember.
Yeah, it sounds like she had a narrative on you from the get-go, right? Even from that night. And so what happened next?
I just told her, after she was done and everything was just normal, and I just told her that I completely understand what she meant and where she's coming from, and I apologized, even though I didn't. To say I'm sorry, I never thought that could be adequate. I wrote like I said, I wrote an apology letter. Obviously I did pretty good, but just in a situation like this, just to say, look at someone and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." I mean, that's not enough for me to be able to express a sincere apology in a situation like this it's not easy at all. I think I did a pretty good job, but like I said, I just told her the truth. I think she shared with me that a medium person, that her husband came to her through this other person. He told her that to forgive me. I thought that was out of this world. No pun intended, but I really thought that was. I think that's what motivated her to go through this process. Like I said, I mean, when I was at Kern Valley at that time, and I'm the only one in that prison experiencing something, going through that something. I mean, all my friends, they wanted to do it. You're lucky, you're this. I mean, I gotta face my victim's right. What do you mean I'm lucky? I was terrified. Honestly, I didn't know how. I just didn't know how to do it. There's nothing that could prep you for something like this. That's why I go back to Martina and Barbara. I mean, they did a good job with how doing the job for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess their experiences and how to shape these things, it really helped out a lot.
They're well seasoned in it, so yeah, they know how to handle it. And I like the idea of them, teaching you just relaxation techniques.
That's really what I remember. She got a little conversational, and she was telling me about how Floyd came to her and told her to forgive me. I thought, that was, like I said, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. If you watch these court programs on TV, they're yelling at each other, screaming at each other, by a life for a life and an eye for an eye. I don't really believe in all that because that makes us all the same. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't fix nothing. Like I got the impression that she didn't believe what happened in court. She didn't believe it, and it's like when I told her what happened, and I mentioned earlier that she knew who her husband was. She knew the guy she was married to, and I believe the picture that she had in front of her of the person she was married to, and me explaining to her what happened. I think, I mean, she just knew it was the truth. She knew. She just knew it. It was like, yep, that's my Floyd. The way circumstances unfolded, that was who he was. So there would be no lying or getting around it or minimizing or nothing like that. It doesn't matter what was said. It's like the truth. You know it when you hear it, and that seemed like a relief to her. I think that's what gave her the relief, knowing that she had got it right.
Yeah, from the impression I got from her, it was that she, I think the puzzle came together. She knew who her husband was, and when she actually had a moment to sit down with you, it was solidified in her brain, and the truth came out.
Yep, I'd say the clouds cleared. You see the puzzle came together. There was that moment in that room where you could just sense that. Like I said, I knew she didn't hate me no more. That made me feel really good.
I bet.
Wouldn't go as far as saying I forgive you. She couldn't bring it to it, but she didn't believe in God either. She kind of got her own thing going on with the man upstairs. She was willing to express that freely. She was, like she said, she is who she is, and she held her composure more than I did. I'll tell you that. She was kind of adamant, but she was real. She was like real, which as bad and tragic as this whole thing was, she understood. She understood the life, the life part about it. That's what life throws at us. I mean, it seems like she just got it. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like when you tell somebody, I mean, they know. You look at them in their eyes, they know. It's not fucking trying to bullshit them or anything else. They just know. And she told me, well, how come you didn't tell me this before? She was telling me I guess the DA was telling her that I didn't give a fuck about nothing. Nothing all I cared about was his bike. It really had nothing to do with what happened. She was just painting this picture of me to get herself into a conviction. The adversarial part of being a DA, I guess. He wanted his conviction, and the truth really didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter to him. I don't think it mattered to my attorney either. It's like I didn't have much of a defense. I don't know if she said anything about that, but there was really not that much of an argument. And me, if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would just get on the stand and tell the same story I told you, I told to her, and I told you today. I think that would have been the best way to go, and I'm sorry I didn't do it. But I trusted not to. Just like she told me, well, how come you didn't tell me this before? I said, we're not allowed to contact you. You try to contact you, that's a couple of more felonies. I don't know what would happen, man, but I know we get in trouble.
Those are people's rights, right? Both to protect them and in this case to hurt them. But it's interesting that I wish there were more people that were like Michele that would reach out to, in this case, their offender to actually get clarity on, the person that is actually behind that whole event and actually, put it all together for them and see what actually happened and, just get a clearer picture, like you said, clear the clouds.
It's like you just going through life. I was told, it's just kind of lifestyle, something bad's going to happen. You just don't know what, when, or how it could have happened. I couldn't have predicted this. And I'm don't get it wrong. I'm not a Joe citizen. I'm not a law-abiding citizen that I deserve all these praise, merits, and everything. I've been cheating, cutting corners, and been in drug game most of my life. That's not. I'm not trying to brag or boast. It's just the reality. That was my survival, and I think there was a lot of. I think Floyd was pretty much the same. I understand that. I think he was on parole at the time, and I don't know how long he had got out, but it's like the same circumstances, same thing, different circumstances. Put it that way. He grew up on the other side of the street. Just two dark forces met in the middle of the night, and one had to win, one lost. It could have went either way. Honestly, I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to minimize, but it could have very well been the other way around.
Since you sat down with Michele and had that victim-offender dialogue, how has your life changed?
I think I got a little self-esteem back. I've got some hope back. Like I say, I mean, I feel good inside. I felt relieved. The weight came off her shoulders. Well, the weight came off of my shoulders too. This whole time, the way people look at us and the people in my position, like we're just like you're just worthless, nothing coming to earth. So, like I said, I was able to give her some clarity. I was able to give her what she needs, and it's one of the best things I ever did, considering the circumstances. I brag about it all the time. I talk about that to my friends. The few people I talk to around here, I talk about it all the time.
Well, like when you had friends inside that said you were lucky to be able to actually sit down and talk to her, and you were nervous about it, and now you kind of get what they were saying.
I think I can honestly say I feel human again. And it's just by no chance a human to San Quentin I'm talking to you on the phone. I don't know. I don't know how to explain what it gave me, but I don't feel like I'm like a monster. Someone was interested. I got to tell my side of the story, and it made me feel normal again. Like I'm not this evil monster person. I just can't wear that jacket. I just can't. Seeing myself in that light, it's not easy. After our vlog, it's crazy. She actually gave me a hug. I was already walking out of the room, not knowing that. It was a little awkward. Okay, it's over because there was a little commotion with the officer. I had to walk back in the room, and she gave me a hug. Man, unbelievable how I felt. I felt normal. I felt human again. Honestly, that's the best way I can say it. I felt human again.
Yeah, the healing that both of you went through. Gosh, that's wonderful to hear, Stephen.
I have to honestly say that I credit, I do my groups in here. I'm not going crazy with the groups. I'm in a couple, Life is Group, Criminal CGA, Criminal Gangs Anonymous, different groups like that will pertain to a person like this. I just wish I knew then what I know now. If I could have been able to talk to her before, this restorative justice thing man, it's incredible. If I'd have known it ahead of time, back in the days, back when I was still a youngster, before taking on this pattern of mine, the resources that are available today, I sure wish they were available when I needed them, because it's taught me a lot. Just the insight alone. I think that's what got me through that meeting with Michele. Okay, I tell you, I talk to my friends a lot. They think I'm lucky. They want to do it. They all want it. They're me too. Yeah, tell them about me. That's what I learned. They said that the victim has to be the one to initiate. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they should be able to change that. But there was more with what went on with me. Things to be a lot different as far as the system goes. I just think, the justice system is supposed to be about the truth, and I just don't see none of that in the process that I went through. It just seemed like nothing mattered. All the DA cared about was getting the conviction at all costs. He didn't care about anything, nothing I needed to be cared about. I think the victims, Michele, she had every right to know. She deserved what I was able to tell her. Couldn't that happen beforehand? Why did it take why she have to live that way for 18 years? You said it's been 20, but you said 18. Why she have to live like that for 18 years, just not knowing? Mm-hmm. And I think it's got to do with her wanting to be me too, because what happened in court was just, man, they talked about everything, but what happened? In the Bible they say the truth so set you free. I'm living that. I just feel like I'm living that. Like I said, I never told anybody the actual events of that night until I told it to her. And the way she accepted, the way she received it, and it just went, man. I just wouldn't. I should have happened a lot sooner. I just wish it would have happened a lot sooner. Mm-hmm. If I could go back, if I go back and take it again, I'd have got on that stand and said it did the same exact thing. Just tell the truth, and whatever happens, happens. Because, like I said, I'm not. As far as getting away and it happened. It's tragic. It happened, but I didn't wake up that morning knowing that this is what was going to happen to me, and this is what was going to become my life. I didn't do it on purpose. The behavior, the lifestyle, the reckless behavior. Yes, I'm guilty of that. I should have known better. I was old enough to know better, and I make no justifications. I don't minimize none of it, but I didn't intend what happened, the end result to happen the way it did.
And so dive into that a little bit with us. So, You get on the bike that night and then leave. And then how many days was it later when you got arrested?
To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure. I was moving around a lot between my daughter's house, my brother-in-law's house. It couldn't have been 2 weeks, I don't think. I'm not exactly sure. I know I don't remember the exact day it happened. I remember I got arrested on June 4th.
Where were you when you got arrested?
I was at a thrift store. It wasn't like a lot of people in there. They pretty much knew not who I was, but they were zeroing in on me. They approached me really fast. That's what I remember.
And then why did you think you were being arrested, or what was going through your mind?
Well, I knew what happened. I didn't know the extent. I knew that he was hurt, that he had got stabbed. I knew, but I didn't. Like I said, I didn't know that he had passed. They don't say nothing. They wouldn't say nothing. I was put in the car and I was transported down to the police department. Very, very few words exchanged at all. My mind was, I was just swimming fast, trying to put my own puzzle together.
And how did you find out?
The interview process. He tried to interview for hours. I don't really remember exactly how the interview was. I mean, that was like a whirlwind going through. Like I said, my mind was going fast. It was a lot to take in. It was unbelievable. The emotional roller coaster I was on. Honestly, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I just shut down. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I just shut down.
That's incredible that it feels like the second you were put in that car, your voice was taken. It never, ever was heard again until you sat down with Michele 18 years later. And it's only because here she was wanting to have some kind of closure.
She had to tell me about what the DA told her. It was like, man, it was like a cheerleader. It was like he was trying to glorify the fact that I got caught. That he was going to get the win, like a football game. And he just painted this picture of it. I was like, I thought it was some kind of monster. And that was just, to me, that was just like the first from the truth. I mean, I told her, I said, look, I mean, I wasn't playing games. I didn't know how to accept this. My mind just wouldn't let me. There was no one I could really talk to. A couple of interviews at my daughter, I have that special father-daughter relationship. They twisted our conversations around. Anything that being said on the phone or anything, man, we just all twisted around. Everything was geared towards that moment. And that's just not how it is. Every word spoken is evidence. And it's just not, that's just not how it goes. I just think we are the same kind of people. I don't think I'm better than nobody or he's better than anybody. I think, like I said, we're the same kind of people, grew up in the same kind of atmosphere, the same kind of town, same circumstances, same societal issues, the family dysfunction.
Yeah, just so wrong in so many ways. Well, Stephen, I want to thank you for all your vulnerability today and taking us through your story. I have to tell you that when you told me that you hadn't shared your story in the beginning when you were in court and had never really had the opportunity to share it before you sat down with Michele and then a second time with us, it feels really good and really cathartic to be able to know that you've been given a voice and to hear your side of the story, and for you to share everything. Thank you so much.
It's really been interesting in being able to have a voice, and thank you. It's really been an honor to be able to share what's happened with me and this whole process.
As we've heard today, Stephen's account of the tragedy and his journey through accountability is both sobering and deeply human. His participation in the Victim Offender Dialogue program with Michele was a courageous step, a step that brought clarity, not only for Michele, but for Stephen as well. This dialogue allowed both of them to confront the pain, understand the tragedy through each other's eyes, and begin the long and difficult process of healing. It's a testament to the power of vulnerability, accountability, and the possibility of finding connection even in the darkest moments. If you or someone you know is interested in participating in a victim offender dialogue, we encourage you to reach out to your local Department of Corrections. If these services are not currently available in your area, consider advocating for their inclusion through your local representative. Thank you for joining us for this powerful conversation. And remember, even in our darkest moments, healing is possible and change is within reach. Be kind to yourself.